Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 3. I believe we're live. Oh golly gee. Welcome to episode 99 of Lights Thunder Action. Coming up on today's show, we have She-Hulk episodes 3 and 4. We're going to talk about the case, the trial of Emil Blonsky, as well as Madison and Wongers. We're also going to cover House of the Dragon episode 3 very briefly and dive into the predictions for this weekend's D23. After the jump, kids. Welcome to
LTA with
TCR
and JRB.
This is where the fun begins.
You're just not thinking fourth dimensional.
Flourish. Peter D23.
Nom nom.
I'm vengeance.
What? Did we just become best friends?
Yup! I love you guys.
Hold on to your butts.
If we find out you have personalized license plates, you die.
Dude, I almost had you.
To that I say, all right.
Happy Thursday. Welcome on into Lights Thunder Action. It is September 8th, 2022, and it is time for your Thursday night pick-me-up. Thursday afternoon pick-me-up, technically, where two Thunder buddies dive into all things Marvel, DC, pop culture, IP, and the latest happenings in the film industry.
On today's show, Thomas and I are going to be talking about episodes 3 and episode 4 of She-Hulk, since we weren't here for the last one. And we're also going to talk about what we're most excited for as we kick off the weekend of Disney's D23 event. But first, Thomas, where can everyone find our show?
We are live beaming directly into your homes and phones via our Lights Thunder Action Facebook and the HWWF, excuse me, sorry everyone, slip into the past there, HWWS WebTV channel on Twitter and YouTube. All of those links can be found at Linktr.com/LightsThunderAction. All one word, no hyphens, no spaces, kids. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow to view the live version of our show where you can interact with us. But if you don't want to look at our beautiful bearded faces, but you love to hear our beautiful bearded voices,
then you can hear said beautiful voices on Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, and Spotify. Please follow and subscribe on those platforms. Leave us a review, preferably 5 stars, if you will, and ask us a question in that review, and we'll bring it right here on the show and answer it for you. So, with all of that out of the way, episode 99, we have moved to Thursday Night Football. Well,
yeah,
a little bit before Thursday Night Football. That's actually why we're doing it at 5 p.m. tonight, so we don't miss NFL kickoff tonight.
Prioritize.
Yeah,
prioritize.
I think out of everything that's going on this weekend with Marvel, with our show moving to Thursday, with LTA having a new date, I think the thing I'm most excited for is Bills Rams tonight. That AFC championship game was one of the best football games in the last 5 years, I would say. And the fact that we get to kick off the next season with that same matchup is going to be really, really fun. So because of that, we're coming to you a little bit earlier than usual. It's weird talking to you at 5 p.m. The sun is still up.
I know, it's crazy, man. The sun is still up and Lady is still sleeping in the back, messing up the bed. Look at her. She's zonked, man.
Yeah.
Right in front of the fan, too.
Golden loaf, just chilling. Yeah. Her eyes aren't even open. She doesn't care. But yeah. See, we have 2 episodes of She-Hulk to talk about.
Yeah, we do, buddy.
I think there's a lot that we missed because it's been 10 days since our last episode, and
that's right.
So yeah, we just had episode 3 of She-Hulk last week, and we just got a new episode today. Episode 4 dropped this morning, so we actually got to see 2 before I got to see you again. So
it's too long. It's too long. But before we do that, how you doing, buddy? Though, how are you?
Yes, same wavelength. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Today is the last day that I will ever be 24 years old. So
what?
Yeah.
Your birthday
is
tomorrow?
Yes. So episode 99 of LTA well, at least the audio version, will be dropping on 9/9, which is my birthday. So very excited how that lines up. But
Beautiful.
I know,
Happy
right?
Happy fucking birthday, bro.
Thanks, dude. Thank you.
We did it. We made it to another year, man. You
we
lived.
did. I made it a full year, and nothing's different. But no, just kidding. But I am having a bit of a complex, a little bit of Andrew Garfield in Tick Tick Boom type situation where I don't want to get older, and I feel like my life is rushing by so quickly, and I am just hanging on for dear life. But this show is what keeps me grounded. And I'm excited that I get to spend my last day as a 24-year-old with you, TCR. And we get to talk about some twerking She-Hulk. That's how we live it. That's the best way to go.
Absolutely. We're gonna twerk the shit out of this. We're twerking for the Thor's Day. I had something going on there. Yes. Shout out to Terry McIver for hanging out with us. He says HWWS, the real Essen deal. Nice. He also says we're on at a reasonable time for the folks across the pond. True. So we got to keep this up so that our UK audience can hop in here with us.
Absolutely.
It's going to be fantastic. Also, shout out Max Carr. He's a voice actor. He's one of my buddies from college, one of my brothers in my fraternity. He says there's 2 birthdays this week. If I'm not mistaken, his birthday is on the 10th. I could be wrong.
Happy birthday, my friend.
It's
going to be a late weekend.
Oh, it's all listen, NFL season starts. D23 is going on. They dropped Thor on Thursday on Disney Plus, and they finally,
that's right.
After almost, listen, I'm gonna complain really quick. After almost 2 years, Thor finally gets a fracking Avatar. And you want to know what my complaint is? They didn't throw Jane Foster up there. I mean, Padme. I mean, Natalie Portman. The Mighty Thor. We got there. My queen, the Mighty Thor, is not up there for me to switch back and forth. Back and forth? I'm going to stop with the Thor.
We got to draw the line somewhere.
That's the line. Tara McIver says a very happy unbirthday today, JRB, and a happy birthday for tomorrow. In a mere, oh my God, 2 hours, I believe it'll be your birthday over there. So,
oh wow, well, thank you for that, Terry. That means a lot. Our producer Terry, always coming in clutch.
And
it looks like you were right about Max Carr's birthday. Congrats for being a good friend.
Damn, I'm proud of myself. That was a good one. And he says, happy birthday to you too. We're just celebrating here. We're sweating real hard, dude.
So much. There's so much happening, so much to be excited about this week, especially in the next couple of days. D23 is going to be one of the biggest ones. But we also have NFL kickoff this weekend, but there's something that's already been going that people are really latching onto. Yeah. Thomas, I need to know what you thought of the next episode of House of the Dragon.
Oh my God. When people, I was texting a buddy and he's like, I want fire and blood. And the very next scene was somebody walking with blood, covered in blood, past a bunch of fire. And I'm like, well, you got what you wanted. And they go, damn it, dude. I knew you were going to hit me with that.
Wow.
Holy crap. So this is so you remember last time we talked, there was a 6-month time jump.
Yeah.
This time there's a 3-year time jump from the last time. So yeah.
Covering even more ground than She-Hulk.
Exactly. By a lot. It's gonna get crazier. They're changing actors in 2 episodes, I believe. So
oh no way.
Yeah, so Rhaenyra is now 17. She is of age to be married or something along those lines, which is confusing because there's 12-year-olds being sold off basically in the show. It's a weird show. Don't live in medieval times is basically what I've learned about this. But the Daemon Targaryen, the crazy uncle to the main character Rhaenyra and the brother of the king, is not doing so well in his war with the crab feeder guy who feeds all of his enemies to crabs. Oh. And we see that a lot. It's gross.
Crab eater. Disgusting.
He's not, they're not winning that war at all. They get to a certain point and then they run away and they go hide in caves and they are just struggling. We go along the way and they're on the hunt. The whole episode ends with him just going on a single man killing spree. He goes as far as he can. It's an absolute suicide mission. I don't believe there was a plan to back him up. He just left after literally beating a messenger near death because he got a message from his brother he did not like. Which, I mean, fair.
Don't kill the messenger, though. What?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair,
is this before
exactly what
the rule was established? Don't kill the messenger.
I don't.
That's what this
honestly
prequel series is about, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, the whole series is about not killing the messenger. We're not going to talk about the Greeks because they don't exist in that world.
Right.
So it obviously is the Targaryens.
Yeah. Sorry, the typical me getting fixated on the stupidest point in the show. Continue. We beat a messenger
we beat a messenger near to death. He goes in and he kills a crap ton of people by himself. Then he gets caught in the chest twice with an arrow, leg in the arrow in the leg, goes down, and then I guess it would be his cousin, his nephew, it'd be a cousin, comes in on a dragon and starts burning everyone to death. And the cavalry arrives and he chases the crab eater in, cuts him in half, and drags half of his body out of the cave. Covered
hamburger or hot dog?
Hamburger.
So right through the torso?
Like at an angle, bro.
Oh.
Yeah, man, it was gnarly. Like intestines hanging out and all. It was gross. He's literally just covered in blood, dude. It was fantastic. Like I can't even lie. I was like, dude, dope. That's how the episode essentially ends. Him ascending to his point in the world. He has matured and earned a reputation because he did not want his brother to help. That's the whole key to the point.
Okay.
Rhaenyra and the king situation, her best friend is now married to the king and is now her stepmom, which is super weird. And she's also pregnant with the second kid for the king. So now the king's going to have 3 children.
Is this the same king that killed the last queen?
Basically killed her? Absolutely. Yep.
Or did what led to her death?
Yep. He made the decision to kill her, basically.
Right.
Yes, that is correct.
So now he has a new wife and they're having a new kid.
Yep, because the son that they've already had is turning 2 years old. They're going on a hunt. That's what they do. It's a name day thing. They go on this like the royal hunt and whatever, and they're going and they're chasing bulls and bulls and horses. It's crazy.
So it really wasn't necessary to kill his first wife then. Probably could have just found that other wife and had a kid that way.
Technically, no, because he can't marry 2 at the same time. See, you can marry.
So since she's gone, now he gets. So it's a win-win.
It's
even if that failed.
He's very much like Leonardo DiCaprio. Soon I will have a much younger, more powerful girlfriend.
Oh my gosh!
So
wait, when he
I feel so bad about saying
the medieval. It's basically like a medieval C-section, right?
Oh no, it was a genuine C-section, like in the exact location that you get a C-section, right under the belly button. And it was.
I don't remember. Yeah. Did that kid survive that, or did?
Nope.
So he needed a new wife anyway. Okay, Oh, so all of it was for nothing.
No,
when he killed his first wife.
No, it was for a reason, but I mean,
the kid didn't make it out, so it doesn't matter, right?
Oh, that was all for nothing. Yeah, dang. He was only trying to save his son.
Brutal.
And, super brutal. And he then named his daughter to be the heir. And now at this point, 3.5 years later, he's questioning whether that was the right decision or not. He now has a son. Because he has a son. He had a dream that
son is already different. It's not even from the first thing that happened.
Exactly. But it's still the son of the king. Wow. And there's some people pushing. They're like, you need to change the mind of the king, my daughter. Like the hand of the king, the right hand of the king is the father of the new queen. And he's pushing her to push the king to make the son the heir because misogyny, and also because politics, because then the hand of the king would become more powerful and built into the next generation, the next lineage of the crown, if you will. So it's very convoluted and really dumb, and in my opinion,
like a lot of this is about legacy though. Like it seems like most of it is it what is this show?
Exactly.
what story is it trying to tell? Because it seems like a lot of it is revolving around who's going to inherit the throne from this guy.
It is 100% about the Targaryen family, the dragons, and the downfall of the family. Word has it that the 4 seasons are going to take place over like the 200 years before Daenerys Targaryen is born. So 4 seasons are going to cover about 200 years, allegedly. They've already covered 3.5, and they're taking a 60, like another time jump here soon, where the actress playing Rhaenyra, the princess, and Alicent, the new queen, are going to be replaced with new actors who are older to justify the time gaps.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that is
it's a lot. It's a
that
lot.
is a lot.
On.
That it seems like they got most of the time out of the way already, though.
3.5 years. Yeah,
that's crazy. So
yeah, there's a lot going on.
3.5 seasons is going to cover the last like 6 months of that timeline.
No. 200 years.
Oh, 200. Oh, wow. Okay. So they're not even close. All right.
They're not even close. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
There's a chance that like the first 2 seasons are 20 years. Or the first season, excuse me, is like 20 years is what I've heard from a very reputable source named Nathan Johnson, who's like the king of Westeros, the real king of Westeros.
Yeah.
So
that dude knows a lot.
Yeah, it is wild. There's a lot going on in this show. Anyways, back to the plot.
By the way, Nathan Johnson of The Direct, sneaky fantasy football agent of chaos / sneaky genius during our fantasy draft, was grabbing players left and right that was throwing the rest of us off. I think he deserves a little bit of a shout out for that. Definitely surprised us all with some pretty sneaky moves.
It's some real Targaryen shit he was doing. You know what I'm saying? You don't, but our listeners definitely do.
From what I've heard, he would definitely perform a C-section on his. No, that probably.
Wow.
Probably.
Damn. Not. What an accusation. But
too much fantasy.
Let's get into the fucking plot. You keep pulling me off track. The hunt. They do the hunt. Rhaenyra's pissed. They keep trying to. She's being courted by a bunch of dudes, and she doesn't want to marry any of them because she hates them all and thinks they're all stupid. Doesn't want to get married. Fair. And then she runs off. Ends up murdering. I'm sorry. She kills a boar. The boar tried to kill her, so it's not really murder. And also, they're gonna eat it. So I guess it's like hunting. It's goodwill hunting. But she slays the boar in a brutal way, gets covered in blood. That's who walks by like through the fire, essentially. Later on, they see this big, they call it the White Hart. It's basically an elk, if you will, massive, and it's like, what is the prophecy is like? It is a very royal. It is the king of the woodland area. You know, the White Hart. It's very rare. No one ever sees it. You see it once every few generations. So she is the one who sees that, and they think that they're going to get it and kill it in the king's side, and it doesn't happen. And they end the episode with him saying to Rhaenyra, "You are my heir, and you do have to get married, but I want you to want to marry him. So you can choose who you want to marry, because I was lucky enough to love your mother. And she, I believe, and she loved me. So you make your choice." And it's like, okay. And then the preview for next week, dude.
Oh, do they end each episode with like a preview for the next week?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Super teaser.
Looks insane. That's putting it nicely.
Yeah. Lots of action or lots of
bit of both.
Oh,
drama. So Daemon Targaryen looks like he's gonna come back and is gonna, now he's got power because he ended the war by himself, right? Essentially, I mean, literally, he killed the guy by himself. As Max here has said, I guess I have to do it myself. And he
like a Thanos.
He Thanos'd it up. Daemon Thanos Targaryen.
There's a name.
He's putting some pressure on the king now. Now he has a stake to the throne, if you will. And it seems as if he's causing drama. Shocking. And it might be that Rhaenyra gets banished. It's very unclear. But then there's something to do with a boat, and it seems that Daemon Targaryen is like flying really low flyovers right over top of the ship as they're sailing out there on the open waters. So we're gonna see what happens. It seems insane, to be dead honest. I have no idea where it's going. I do recall in the trailer a face-off between Rhaenyra and Alicent, and Rhaenyra saying, "Now your true intentions have been shown. Now your true self has been shown." And I'm like, well, I can't wait for that to happen.
Sounds big.
Sounds big. And we're only on episode 4.
There's
and
10, right?
6 to go, dude.
So
Yeah.
you're not even halfway done, not even close. You're only a third of the way in.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. It's
Okay.
insanity. Lots going on. This show is amazing. Really quick, shameless plug right now. If you head on over to good old Twitter, I'm sorry, I'm going to be professional. You head on over to Twitter and Instagram right now. You can vote for your boy TCR in the 3 films in a pod. If you've been following, you know that we took that 1 week off so I could record another podcast. The franchise auction draft. The tournament has begun. It begun yesterday. I won round 1 in our battle. It was a close battle. I'm very happy to have made it through. It was Daemon Targaryen versus the crab feeder type of stuff. I was worried I wasn't going to make it, and I was able to pull it out by the seam of my britches. There's some kind of phrasing. I've won. Now I've moved on, and I am facing our friend of the pod, friend of the show, Beth Ann Tarpley from She Will Rock You Pod. It is Mano e Bethano. I should know better about what the female situation on that would be, but she's got a squad, and I'm worried. You know, I've only got Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Planet of the Apes, The Hunger Games, and The Godfather. She's got, you know, Shrek, the Dark Knight trilogy,
Man.
the entire Wolverine saga. She wants it to be called Logan and the other 2 Wolverine films, but I'm calling
come
it the
on,
Wolverine saga.
disrespect. You wouldn't have Logan without the other ones.
That's what I said. I'm forgetting one. I'm really forgetting.
Like calling
one.
it the Rocky 2 franchise.
Oh my God, that's fantastic. I'm forgetting the other team on her team, the other member franchise on her team, and that is really hurtful because I know it's a really good team. But her final one is one I cannot compete with. Air Bud. I can't compete with dogs.
Oh, what a deep pull! That
I know, right?
Wow.
I was so upset because I was like, "That is brilliant."
She came ready to play.
I'm an idiot. Did I say Shrek?
Yeah.
Damn it! I'm
led with
still an
Shrek.
idiot because I still don't remember the other one. But it is
still an idiot.
Still an idiot. But we are battling. It's Mad Max. We're good. She's got
Mad Max. Wow.
So
Okay. All right.
She's got a squad, right? And I'm worried. I'm trying to win. I'm trying to come in as the rookie and win the whole thing with the title belt. So you can go to Twitter right now at 3filmspod. And you can vote for me there. You can also go to my Twitter at TCRochesterACT and vote there. It is a 24-hour poll. So if you are listening to this and it is not Friday, September 9th at, I guess we'll call it 4 o'clock Eastern time, you got time to vote. So help me out there. Help me out here. And then if I win, I go face whoever wins the other side. Friend of the show, Ethan Simi is in there as well. I'm trying to win, but I'm also trying to talk some She-Hulk. So let's move right on along to my favorite green lady, and that is Jennifer Walters' She-Hulk. Episode 3. Let's jump right on into episode 3.
Episode 3.
Lawyer show.
Lawyer show, dude. We the first 2 episodes, we already talked about how they both kind of felt like 2 halves of a whole pilot, and that made sense because originally the second episode was the pilot, we think, and the first episode was supposed to be like the second to last or something. Yes. They pulled a little switcheroo so we could have the origin story out of the way, and so episode 3, it finally feels like we're settled in, and now we're doing this fun lawyer show that they were promising. And it may have been unfair to say that it was taking too long to get there, but at the same time, that's what they're promising. So I really liked how they kind of took a turn in episode 3 and started actually focusing on like the law aspect of it and started giving us real world real MCU world scenarios on how superhero law really factors into like an average person's day-to-day life. And it kind of took over the internet for a couple days in the way they did it. Probably not for the reasons that we want them to, but a funny reason nonetheless. But Thomas, episode 3, I think it's been the shortest one so far. Which, by the way, episode 4, the one that dropped today, was like 10 minutes longer than usual.
No,
so that was pretty cool.
Episode 2 was the shortest one.
Episode 2 is the shortest. Well, episode 3 felt even shorter for me for some reason. It just felt like it was bang, bang, bang without stopping. And we just shot all the way through it. But then when I sat and rewatched it, it moved at a much better pace for me because it wasn't all new information hitting me constantly. But episode 3, I think, is what I wanted to get from this show. So I'm really hoping that they keep that tone through the remaining bulk of it. But for plot points, Wong, this is right in the middle of the show, but one of the biggest takeaways is that Wong basically admitted to committing a crime, to breaking Abomination out of prison, and he said it was so that he could train as the Sorcerer Supreme. There were a lot of theories surrounding that scene ever since it showed up in the Shang-Chi promotion. And even after the movie came out, we really didn't have a solid answer as to why Wong was taking Abomination to, I'm blanking on the club's name, but Xiaoling's Fight Club.
Yes, I don't remember that.
Golden something?
Maybe,
totally escaping me right now. But
guess we got to watch Shang-Chi again.
Hey, never too many times. That's still... Other than Spider-Man No Way Home, I think Shang-Chi is my favorite Phase 4 installment. But this series sort of positioned itself to pay off one of those big moments in Shang-Chi when Abomination showed up. And it fell a little flat, but I have a feeling that maybe there's another reason why Wong was training with Abomination, because it does seem a little dissatisfying that it was just for training purposes. I've seen some theories saying that like they have added Abomination to Shang-Chi so they could have a movie level production applied to Abomination's new look, where they wouldn't have to use a TV budget for the CGI for him. Similar to how they're reusing Hulk's look that's been built over the last 10 years.
That's a fair point. That does make some
honestly
a lot of sense.
At this point, that's the most logical explanation, because I don't totally get why it was included in Shang-Chi otherwise. Or maybe we're just making too big of a deal out of these Easter eggs. But do you like how they just kind of brushed over that portion of it and kind of just called it a day? Or are you expecting them to do more with that?
With the Blonsky?
With
breakout?
With Blonsky's affiliation with Wong. Because they kind of played it off like they really didn't know each other that well, and Wong was just doing it to train. But they had a certain familiarity in Shang-Chi when it showed them together, and they were even on a first-name basis, really. It could have been Wong just being pleasant, but do you think there's more to that story?
I think there's a lot more to that story. I think we only know about that one time they broke out. But if he was being trained, like he was using him to train as the Sorcerer Supreme, training doesn't happen once. Right. You can't train once and be a Super Bowl winning football player. You can't train once and be an Oscar winning actor. Like that's just not how things work. You can't train once and become the fucking Iron Man.
Yeah.
Like as we know Iron Man to be. So it takes time. I think there's a lot more going on there. I think I have a feeling we will learn more about it. We know that Abomination has been seen in more TV spots where he's wearing people clothes, in his Abomination form, which is interessante, based on his parole of having to wear an inhibitor collar, if you will.
Right.
So that's going to be a very exciting thing to do. I definitely think we're going to get more. My roommate is cooking bacon right now. I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm so distracted.
Oh, it's wonderful.
And it's, oh God, I love bacon. Here in the South, that's all we eat is bacon. No, but I absolutely love how we get a little bit of that, and it's just left for the future, because that's what the MCU is really doing. I've seen a lot of complaints. People like, I don't know what She-Hulk is. She-Hulk is filling in the gaps that you didn't know existed.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. it's like the background of the MCU, and
Mhm.
we're getting very slowly but surely, we're getting these answers that we've been asking since Phase 4 started. Questions like, is anyone going to address that huge celestial sticking out of the ocean? They at
Hey, we
least
did that.
pointed it out, you know, like they're taking that step to make us see the MCU from a true ground level. And the lawyer show aspect of it is helping with that a lot, because we're seeing how these changes to a common person's average world is being compromised with all of these new additions like the Avengers and the Asgardians and everything that's going on Earth now. So it's pretty cool.
It's very, very cool as to what's going on. The B plot of this episode, it's it is the dickhead from the episode 1, the district attorney guy. What's his name? Bukowski. It's a really dumb name.
It's a very dumb name. It's
yeah. Anyways,
I don't even remember.
he is suing an Asgardian light elf for impersonating Megan Thee Stallion and conning him out of like $175,000. So that's fun. Like it's fun. It's fun. And the shtick that comes from it is fantastic. The way Pug just hates him. One of my favorite scenes from that episode is when he comes in and he goes, "Oh my God, dude, Bukowski, how did you work with them for so long?" And Nikki's like, "Oh, you're going to need this," and just slides her drink over and he downs it and goes, "I hate that
guy." There was so much going on in that scene. And they also literally looked at the camera, and we had a fourth wall break that pointed out that they were connecting the A and B storylines for that episode. I love how meta they are about the actual storytelling. There's more of that in episode 4. And I really do enjoy the fourth wall breaking. It's done very tastefully.
Agreed. It's a great. It is in a way showing you that, hey, Deadpool can work in this reality. Deadpool can work in the MCU. Deadpool can also work inside of PG-13 products if they need to. So, to be fair, every PG-13 gets one F-bomb. You got to give it to Deadpool. They've not used it. Let's think about that. They've teased it. They've gotten very close. They've gotten very close 6 times now. Captain America, fudge. And it's beautiful how they're doing that. And I think it's building up to Deadpool. So then it's just like, finally, right? It's going to be one of those moments.
What better payoff could you ask for an F-bomb? It has to be.
It's got to be. So it's going to be really exciting to see how that all pays off. But the crux of this really comes down to Pug winning the case because Jennifer Walters tells how much of an idiot Bukowski is and how he is literally like, yeah, I could definitely see him being conned, thinking he was dating Megan Thee Stallion, and wins the case. The light elf gets sentenced to 60 days in prison or in jail for impersonating a judge, which happens earlier on in the show, which is hilarious.
I love that Jen looks at Bukowski and he says, like, she was very believable when she was pretending to be Megan Thee Stallion. He's like, you thought she drove a Passat? Like,
yeah.
Just like going over his thought process and seeing like how dull he really was absolutely hilarious.
I love it, man. It was so good. Inside of this, really quick, I see you have 7 soulmates. Soulmates.
When it comes to Abomination and the relationship with Wong and how, at least for now, it feels like it's left a little unsatisfying. Something else that was kind of, I guess, meant to throw audiences off was when Emil was talking about the 7 soulmates he met, who have a plot of land for him that he met through his pen pal program. Mm-hmm. When we see him have his little trial in front of the committee, and Jen is defending him, the 7 soulmates are standing behind him, and it's all these middle-aged women dressed like the cast of Midsommar, and that's it. And like, I feel like they brushed that off very quickly so that it can be brought up again later. Because like at first they planted that seed to make you think, oh, 7 soulmates, and they got us theorizing. We went as far to think it was something like the Thunderbolts. And then the very next episode, we see they're all standing there, and it's just these women, and it feels like the whole case with Emil is it feels like it's being positioned in a way where we're supposed to kind of side with him, or at least we're supposed to think like, oh, he really has changed, and we're kind of turning a new leaf with him. But I think that's just the tip of the iceberg with Abomination. I think there's a lot more going on. And we see that at the end of episode 3 when Jen has a run-in with actually a very familiar comic book crew, the Wrecking Crew. We actually got to meet the Wrecking Crew. Jen is walking home from work, or from the bar, I think, one of the two, and she's ambushed by a group of pretty young guys who aren't necessarily... They're pretty small. They're not very well built. They're kind of just 4 average dudes who are maybe in their 20s. But they're holding this assortment of glowing construction equipment. And Jen asks them, hey, did you jump an Asgardian construction worker? And they look back at her and say, yeah, we did. And so instead of the Wrecking Crew finding this enchanted piece of construction equipment and getting powers and becoming the Wrecking Crew, they literally just robbed an Asgardian construction worker. But the big takeaway from that scene is after Jen pretty easily defeats them, just like she's been doing to pretty much everyone so far. Yeah. This is probably going to come back to bite her in the ass, just probably like Titania, just like we'll get more into that later. But they said, something about their boss, and how they were trying to get a blood sample from Jen, and how as soon as she turned into She-Hulk, they couldn't penetrate her skin. Yeah. So someone out there is looking for Jen's blood, which is the same blood that totally healed Hulk. So I have my thoughts on who you think that could be. When we got into that final scene and we got to meet the Wrecking Crew, I did not realize it was the Wrecking Crew until the very end of the scene because of how original the MCU take is, like it normally is. Yeah. Do you like the direction they're taking with the Wrecking Crew, or did you want to see more like a comic accurate group?
Listen, I don't care what anyone on the internet thinks. I love it. I have never seen so many people come out of the woodwork and be a Wrecking Crew fan. Not once. Oh, yeah. When they showed the Wrecking Crew in She-Hulk and they mentioned the Wrecking Crew was going to be on there, you know how many people were upset? I didn't see anybody say anything. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. And now all of a sudden they care. And I am really pissed off at this. I don't know where this accent came from, but I'm using it. All right. I'm going to be on The Sopranos later. We're going to get to that, Wongers. Seriously, I don't understand how people are all of a sudden like, they were this, they were that, they were this. The one complaint that I've seen that I like this complaint is that they whitewashed one of the characters, the only character that has a heroic turn later on in the comics. My argument, these guys aren't going to have any kind of heroic turn. They're meant to be cannon fodder. Most of the Wrecking Crew is meant to be cannon fodder, and people want to say, oh, well, they can take down Thor. They can knock Thor down. Congratulations. You can knock Thor down, but I don't exactly see how that means you can wield the power you have and resist the physics of hitting a fracking Hulk over the head with a weapon you're too dumb to understand. Yeah. If anyone wants to complain, I'm just going to say physics wins. Physics always wins. Physics is undefeated. Unless you're the Flash, but we're not going to worry about that universe because it doesn't exist.
I don't know. I think the Wrecking Crew, I think they're going to get an upgrade. Just like Titania, I think that they're going to come back bigger and badder. My favorite She-Hulk run by Dan Slott introduces Titania, introduces the Wrecking Crew, and she handles them both easily when they first meet. And then they come back bigger and stronger purely out of spite. And I've already felt that with Titania, and I have a feeling the Wrecking Crew is going to end up the same way because they're on a specific mission for her. So this is only the first time. We're probably going to see them at least once or twice more. And I have a feeling that each time we see them, there's either going to be some sort of upgrade to their weaponry or they're going to have some sort of new resource to try to combat She-Hulk. because, like you said, how it takes time to
Steroids.
learn these things. These guys are going to learn from their mistakes, and maybe it's steroids. I don't know. We saw Laz Alonso talking about deadlifting 600 pounds with no superpowers this week. So,
Fun fact: that is not Laz Alonso.
it's not.
That is a former WWE wrestler.
Oh my gosh,
God.
you're right. It's the Laz Alonso twin.
Wow.
No, I know who you're talking
Yes.
about.
Because he's married to like a famous singer.
You're right. No, I thought it was Mother's Milk at first, and then when I saw the biceps, I was like, "What the heck?" Because that dude was he's
he
big,
was
big. You want to talk about
he was good.
roids?
What is his name? Wow, that's harsh. David Otunga.
Otunga.
That's who that is. That is David Otunga. I knew he looked familiar. I was thinking Laz Alonso when I saw him. I was like, that's not him. His voice is way
I
different.
even
But
remember seeing all the trailers, and I was like, "Laz Alonso's in this." Okay, makes way more sense. We'll get into that more in a minute, but I want to hear
talk about-
your final thoughts real quick before we get to the next one.
Yeah.
At the end of episode 3,
Oh,
when the
yeah.
Wrecking Crew says, and we're talking about before we get to She-Hulk twerking with Megan, because that's its own
Best
thing.
post credits ever. Best post credits ever.
It definitely got everyone talking, that's for sure. If you wanted to get eyes on this show, episode 3's post credit scene is where it's at.
It's me twerking in my chair.
Yeah. The Wrecking Crew.
Yes.
Who are they working for?
Samuel Stern is not only their leader, but the leader.
Nice.
And it's about damn time.
It is about damn time. We're talking about one of the longest withstanding unresolved MCU payoffs is seeing Samuel Stern laying on the ground with his head starting to mutate because it came into contact with raw Bruce Banner blood. And where's he been? Because that was in 2008, and in the MCU, we're well into 2024. It might even be 2025 now. Where's he been? What's he doing? And it would make sense if She-Hulk's blood is going to get him into a state where maybe he can be more publicly available. Ooh. Maybe we're seeing some sort of like Green Lantern situation where the villain is just like decrepit and like that's a horrible example. The Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie is probably not a good one to reference because
I knew what you meant based on the design of the character Parallax.
There you go. See, you knew where I was going.
It was visual. I'm like,
you knew where I was going.
Really
maybe,
good, dude.
Maybe
like,
the She-Hulk
visual.
I bet She-Hulk's blood can like level him out to where he can be like a functioning being again. And we saw how She-Hulk doesn't seem to have the multi-personality thing. She seems fully aware and conscious of her actions when she's in her Hulk form. Maybe that's what Samuel Stern is missing. If that's why he's sending a crew out to get that so he can become a better version of himself, this would set up a great long-standing storyline for She-Hulk to stay relevant in the MCU.
Yeah, man, I'm so in on this idea. I was like, who could this mysterious dude be? And then all of a sudden, I was like, the leader. Let's go. We're finally getting the leader. Because my main thought was, who would need She-Hulk's blood? Oh, yeah, Samuel Stern. Oh, God, they're doing the thing now. Like, let's go. So I'm very excited for that, man. Very excited.
It'll be really cool. Do you have any other thoughts on episode 3? And anything else stick out to you that you think is worth mentioning? Because I think episode 4 has got a few points that are worth talking about.
Very much so. If you're upset about She-Hulk twerking, get a life. Maybe go twerk yourself or something. Go twerk yourself off. Because
I have to admit, when I watched it, I did cringe a little. But once I rewound it because I couldn't believe what I was watching the first time. The second and third time through, I definitely found the joy in it, and that was the scene that made me realize this show is not taking itself seriously at all, and I love that about it. It is absolutely a middle finger to any fan that expects all of these projects to be just cut and dry, straight to the point, origin stories. They're really having fun with this. So I'm really excited to see what they'll do next.
Before we hop off of episode 3, my favorite part about the post-credit scene, like I love the twerking. It's fantastic. It's hilarious. I would kill for you, Megan Thee Stallion. Dial it back. Just that line alone, the delivery. Oh man, that was gold. Like that's what made me cackle. That's why I kept going back to it over and over and over again.
That was a great line. That whole interaction between them was so perfect. I really can't get over how good Tatiana Maslany is at this role. She really is everything that she needs to be for this, to carry that comedic tone the whole way through. And yeah, do you see they released a poster for Megan Thee Stallion and She-Hulk together?
She-Hulk, yeah, I did see that. Yeah,
this is a great poster. It shows Megan signing the contract to have She-Hulk be her attorney, and they've got them twerking on the page that they're signing. That's pure art. We need to get that framed. Okay, I'll get that framed.
You get that framed, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there's going to be a better one in the future.
I'm really hoping that we get one for Madison with two N's and a Y, but not where you think it is.
That's an interesting, like, who is this Madison you're talking about? Let's hop right on into episode 4. Before we do that, there's some comments we have here. When we were talking about She-Hulk filling things in, our buddy Max Carr said, like Rogue One with the Death Star vent. Yes. Never forget, Family Guy called that out. Never forget. It was a structural design by the architect. Boom.
I actually don't get that reference. I haven't seen Rogue One in its entirety.
Oh, you fucked up. Don't that is the greatest Star Wars movie of all time, and I will kill and die on that hill alone if I have to. It's the greatest. We have a comment from Louis Berry, which we're gonna save until D23 when we talk about that, because he's got some good predictions in there, and I'm a big fan of that. But Terry says a lot of people continuously complaining about She-Hulk, and yet they keep watching. He's enjoying the show a lot. Me too, Terry. Me too. It's fun. I'm having fun.
It's just fun. It's just a lot of fun.
Like a certain David Thompson is like, I don't know how to recommend this to people. It's fun. He doesn't think it's funny, but I also understand David's sense of humor, and I can see that he would not find it funny.
Oh, it's definitely it is targeted for a specific audience and a specific type of humor. So if like, just like how The Office, I think is one of the best shows that's ever been written, but there's still a crowd that doesn't care for it. And that's what's nice about this, is everything's subjective. And what the MCU's been doing this phase is they're getting a little more nuanced, and they're able to branch out a little more. And this is very different, and it's not going to hit everyone the same way. But I think you and I can agree it is, if nothing else, just a really good time for half an hour every week.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a big fan of this. Take us into episode 4, my guy. What's
episode 4? It has a really interesting opening, because it kind of has like this metal kind of like hard rock intro as it pans over a city. And we meet a guy named Donnie Blaze, who was teased in the promotion for this show. There was a poster of him sitting in the background. I forget where, but you could very faintly make out the name Donnie Blaze on the poster. And a lot of people thought that might have been a reference to Ghost Rider. But the episode 4 opens with introducing Donnie Blaze as a stage magician. And he's performing a bunch of cheap tricks, like making things disappear, shooting little flames from his hands. And he's performing for maybe a room that's 30% full. Most of the people are shown like just not amused. And so then he breaks out a sling ring and said, let's turn up the heat, or let's make it hotter or something. And
yes,
it's interesting that he uses that language, because Donnie Blaze and the theme of fire is used throughout this entire episode, and not just with this plot line. But we see Donnie, he opens a portal and calls a volunteer up to the stage, and her name's Madison, and she explains that it's Madison with 2 N's and a Y, but not where you think it would be. And every time she introduces herself, she explains it just like that, and I love that. But she's very tipsy. She's holding a drink. He hands her some flowers, some fake flowers, and she smells them and said, just so you know, guys, these smell like nothing at all. And as she's saying that, there's this portal opening behind her, and she just turns around and looks in, and she goes, ew. And
because there are orc heads on spikes.
Thank you. Because it's a different dimension. And
Whoa.
the following scene takes us all the way across the world to Nepal, and we see Wong jiving in his living room about to sit down and watch The Sopranos. And Madison, with 2 N's and a Y, but not where you think it would be, drops from the sky out of a separate portal.
Mm-hmm.
And Wong's immediate reaction is, "Where'd you come from?" And did a deadbeat magician or something magician, half rate, I think he said, did a half rate magician send you through this portal? She goes, "Not exactly. Fire demon. I think his name was Jake. I entered a diff dimension, and I met this fire demon named Jake, I think." And she came out of there like holding like a beating heart, like
A human heart, yes.
like, yeah, like there's so much happening, and this is all before the title sequence in the episode. So this is just the intro. But right away, we see this real world scenario where a magician's using a sling ring to throw people across different dimensions. And now Wong notices it. And as a Sorcerer Supreme, obviously he has to do something about it. So just like these fun lawyer shows like NCIS, or it's not as fun, but the opening sets up the problem. It shows the crime, it shows the suspect, and it gives us a broad idea of what's going on.
Yes.
Boom, She-Hulk title sequence, and then we get into the thick of the episode. So, very long-winded explanation to say the intro is showing a human using magic in a world where the mystic arts, at least to Wong, he believes they shouldn't be used by common folk because it could throw off the stability of space-time.
Yeah.
Super serious stuff when you really think about it, but they still give it that
Yes.
really lighthearted tone. When you saw
Fantastic.
Donnie Blaze, do you mean Johnny Blaze, or was it just me? Because I honestly thought it was a mistake at first before I realized, oh, maybe this is like a relative.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that people share the same last name and have something similar. I mean, there's Google Thomas Rochester, you'll find more than just me.
Oh yeah,
Most of them are old, so there's that on my side. But there's
you do have to
plenty
admit
of-
it's interesting that
it's
there's a
very
showman with the
interesting.
last name Blaze who can open
Mhm.
up an interdimensional portal.
yes,
Because we've learned that magic can be hereditary through different
what
characters.
A good call. What a good
we've learned
call.
that we actually in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I know it's not MCU canon, but they ended Ghost Rider's last appearance with him opening a very similar portal and going into like a different dimension. So that there is a very, very unique and convenient spot for them to fit in Johnny Blaze in the MCU now, if they ever want to come back around to it. But regardless of Ghost Rider, Madison and the nickname she came up with for Wong, she just calls him Wongers.
Wongers.
I love that she just calls,
Love
after the first time they meet, she only refers to him as Wongers. But she ends up being used as a witness in She-Hulk's case against Donnie Blaze. And the way she explains her journey, like through the portals that she went through, saying it was fun, and then it was cool, and it was a little scary, and then it was fun again, and then it was a little scary, and then it was all good. She-Hulk's like, that's how everything is, really. Like she's like, this isn't going to help us.
Yes.
But Madison's
fantastic.
inclusion is so much fun. That's just one plot line of this. There's a whole other side of this episode of Jen, of She-Hulk, trying to gain some validation and trying to take a new step in her life that she wasn't able to previously. Do you want to lead us into that portion of the episode, and then we'll tie it all together at the end?
Yes. Before we do that, I want to show off the image from the post, the credits here of Madison signing a contract with the goat with a name tag that says, "Hello, my name is Jake." There's another in here somewhere that I was looking at along these tweets of, here it is. She says, "I made a pact with a demon that I cannot discuss. Otherwise," he said, "he would reap my soul and the souls of all I love." Fantastic little imagery going on there. And the fact that she does not call anyone by their name. And she's drunk. And I feel like Mephisto is a really hard word for her to pronounce at all. there's no telling if that's an easy or not thing to say. So
She was able to spell her own name, though. So, I mean, she was at least a little coherent.
hold on now. I can spell my name when I'm hammered, too. I mean, I could be blackout drunk. Spell your name. THOMASERTROCHESTR. 21 letters. Remove the middle 17. Thor. I'm Thor. Done it plenty of times. There's videos somewhere on
Actor
the internet.
always has to be ready to promote.
That was before I was an actor too, so I was just showing off. You know what I'm saying?
Man, so we have yet another Disney Plus show where we think Mephisto might be lurking in the background. What are the odds that all of these references to Mephisto that we think and that they've been playing off as nothing actually are all going to build up and mean something later? What if all of these references that they're writing off as nothing now really are legit references to Mephisto pulling strings in the background? We already found out that Kang has been editing the timeline for as long as we've known the MCU. What if there's someone else tinkering in the background that we don't even know about yet?
There's so many people tinkering in the background. I mean, even the Thinker out there is hanging out, tinkering in the way. That's right. I brought in Evil Reed Richards. I ain't fracking around today. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready, Eddie.
Speaking of secrets, Wong was acting awfully strange in this episode.
I like that you put this in here because I didn't think about this at all. But it's interesting that you have it.
Yeah.
Hit me with your query, sir.
There's one specific line that Wong has when he's talking with She-Hulk that really threw me off. He's speaking about how, humans shouldn't be using the mystic arts without, proper licensing. I think he says any unlicensed person using mystic arts should be prohibited. And She-Hulk asks him, hey, can you leave your info so we can actually try to build a case here? Because you didn't have this Donnie Blaze sign an NDA or anything. By the way, Donnie Blaze was legitimately at Carmartage for about a month before he, essentially flunked out. So he was properly introduced to the mystic arts, and then now he's misusing them since he left Carmartage. So
real quick
they're
question,
also answering. Go ahead.
Where the fuck is Mordo right now?
Thank you. That's the thing.
Him.
The MCU, once again, She-Hulk is answering another important question for us. What happens to all the people that go to Carmartage and don't end up becoming masters of the mystic arts? We just met one, and it's Donnie Blaze, and he's a half-rate magician or whatever he called him. But
it's definitely half-rate. He sucks at the
he's terrible.
The mortal magician stuff.
Yeah, and he has a very strange manager who is also like a creepy do you think
Clarence.
He's like an old
his name is Clarence?
I thought it was Cornelius. Is it Clarence?
Damn it, you might be right.
It's a proper C name, but there's this giant painting of him behind him. He seems like a classic con man, definitely like a circus ringleader or something. But second Disney Plus show to feature a circus. But if my memory serves me right, at the end of that conversation that Wong had with She-Hulk, she asked him to leave her his info, and he pulls out a blank card and flicks it, similar to what we see Jimmy Woo and Ant-Man do with their card tricks. And his info appears on the card. All it says is Wong, Sorcerer Supreme, Master of the Mystic Arts. And he flicks it at her, and he says, cheap human trick, as he walks through the portal.
Interesting. Okay.
Is Wong not human?
See, that's a good question. I look at that. You're right. It is Cornelius, by the way. I looked at that as him saying, this is human magic. What he's doing is not human magic. What he's doing is extra dimensional magic. I mean, there's a lot of humans who do it. Yes. Mm-hmm. But across the multiverse, no. But I do like what I do see what you're doing here, and
it's the language of it, because
intriguing.
Marvel's good at this. They haven't done it in a while, at least not that we've noticed. But in Spider-Man Far From Home, when Talos was posing as Nick Fury, if you watch Far From Home back, there's about 3 separate instances where Talos slips up and refers to Earth as not his world, or says something about humans as if he's excluding himself, where it's very, very subtle. But then by the end of the movie, all of those little slip-ups he had made sense because he wasn't really Nick Fury in that scene. So it would be cool if Wong, the Sorcerer Supreme, a guy who's been featured prominently and heavily this phase, turns out to be a Skrull, that would definitely throw a wrench into a few things that have been recently established. So, She-Hulk, I'm calling my shot. Wong is
I like it. I like it. That's
Sorcerer
good.
Supreme, Sorcerer Supreme.
Nice.
Sorcerer Skrull Supreme.
Ooh, that's better. That one's better. We're gonna go with that. Sorcerer Skrull Supreme.
Ooh, that's a mouthful. I got marbles today. But yeah, so episode 4, Donnie Blaze. But
Marvels.
Yes. So the other plot in She-Hulk episode 4 is She-Hulk is on Tinder, or as they like to call it, Matcher.
Matcher, yeah.
The immediately before Wong comes into She-Hulk's office unannounced, as he so loves to do, she's creating a Matcher profile, and she uses her corporate headshot, as Nikki calls it, and she sets up the profile as Jen Walters, and they discuss how that's not a great idea, and how she's not getting any matches, and how she's essentially like a librarian on that dating app that's not going to get any matches. And Nikki's like, you got to spice it up, and then they start talking about making a profile as She-Hulk. And by the end of the episode, not even by the end of it, by halfway through the episode, Jen turns into She-Hulk, looks at the camera after a horrible date with the dude who wanted nothing to do with her and called her a 6 while she was still within earshot. She looks at the camera, turns into She-Hulk and says, I'm not proud of this, takes a few selfies and creates a dating profile as She-Hulk. There's one little shot, and this is going to come back to what I said earlier, and then I'm going to leave this alone. On that Matcher profile, they hung around a little bit too long on that screen that said your profile's created, and then the whole background is just flames, and it's just fire. And they panned on that for like 3 to 5 seconds. And I feel like every instance in this episode, there was some notion or relation or reference to like fire or flames or a fiery dimension. And even when they opened up the portal, I think when Donnie Blaze was trying to do it later on, they called it a fire hole. And it's really interesting how they keep using fire. And I think that adds a little bit more to your theory that like maybe it's not Mephisto, but there is definitely a demon that is actually important to the story. And Madison with 2 N's and a Y, and it's not where you think it would be. I can't say her name without saying that. I think that she might actually be more important to the story later on, which I'm excited about because I want to see more of her.
Yeah, she's definitely going to be very important to the story. Again, this is how I see it. She is hanging out with Wong right now. You know what I'm saying? Not only is she hanging out with Wong, they're besties.
Yeah, and they're going to watch The Sopranos.
My biggest complaint, really fast, if I can go on an evil diatribe of what the fuck. Don't spoil stuff. Come on, Madison with a Y, not where you think it is. Come on, man. You want to know what makes me sad? I haven't seen Sopranos. Those are things that are spoiled for me now. Really quick, why did they choose that episode inside the universe that's what Wong's watching?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
So
I think
that's my big question.
Yeah. I love how Wong is constantly just trying to catch up with pop culture. It is so funny to me how, whether it's listening to Beyonce or watching The Sopranos and having it spoiled for him, like how many years after it came out, Wong is always doing his best to keep up, but not really keeping up. It'll be interesting to see if the same will be true for his job as Sorcerer Supreme.
He also said he lost track of time and he seemed a little bit rushed when he landed last week in the cell of Emil Blonsky, too.
He's got a lot going on. You're right. He was late to that hearing that they had.
Interesting.
At least he was on time to court this time. He was on time to court this time we saw him, right?
Well, he was not in court. Oh, yeah, he was in court. Damn, I already blocked that out. That's terrible. That's on me. That's on me. My bad.
So, what are your final thoughts on episode 4? This is the last episode that was sent out for screeners. So after this, everyone, all the big names in the different outlets, we're all going to be on the same page now going forward for the final 5 episodes.
Yeah. It's going to be crazy.
5 episodes. Starts with episode 5. What are your final thoughts on this first batch of episodes that we've seen?
I love it. I'm such a fan of the tone. I'm a huge fan of just the vibe, man. I love Jennifer Walters. I love Tatiana Maslany, and I'm okay with not having. I was surprised we got that big action scene.
Yeah.
And that was
huge.
I was
We
like,
got
oh,
a
yeah,
Wong
let's go.
She-Hulk. We didn't even talk about a Wong She-Hulk team up that we got because
to fight demons.
Yeah, one of Donnie's portals ended up bringing in these weird gremlin-looking demons that just kept growing into stronger and stronger monsters as they fought, and Wong had to recruit She-Hulk.
Dude, really fast. Can we talk about the fact that it came of an egg laid by a fucking dove?
Yeah, that
Come
was weird.
on.
That
The
was
imagery.
weird.
The imagery. Let's really quick. I'm not a very religious man. If you're religious, fine. If you're not, also fine. I care not. The fact that a dove, a symbol of Christianity, brought a demon into Earth is very Antichrist, very Satan. So very intriguing how we also have a goat with red eyes, as we've seen here. You know what I'm saying? Just beep, bop, boop, right there. A goat with red eyes and signing off stuff like that. And human hearts are out there. I find it interesting. And it's this is the most Mephisto-y stuff we've gotten yet.
Yeah. And
like,
it's so casually just right out in the open about it too. Like, yeah. It's treated like a C plot to this episode, and it might be one of the biggest developments in the show.
So we've thought we had hints of it in WandaVision. We think we've seen that realm in Multiverse of Madness.
Right.
And if you pay attention in Thor: Love and Thunder, I believe the god who has sacrificed the most human soul is Satan.
Yes.
So.
And who just gained another soul on their contract?
Jake.
Madison with 2 N's and a Y. Except
Jake from State Farm.
Jake from State Farm. Yeah. Why is it that we both thought Jake from State Farm when we heard Jake the Demon? I don't think that's where they want us to go with that.
No. Or is it? Is he from a farm downstate?
Man, Jake the Demon. It's going to be really interesting to see just how
dude.
Weird this She-Hulk show gets. But
I want to see. I want
a lot of the
Jake.
comics. She-Hulk does go interdimensional sometimes.
Wait, what? Are you serious?
There is an instance. There's an instance where She-Hulk breaks some sort of law in time, where Hawkeye travels back in time and he makes contact with She-Hulk when he shouldn't have or something, and she has to testify in the Watchers' essential interdimensional court of law, and she has to testify to the Watchers for it. And one of the Watchers, I don't know if it's a Uatu or another one, but he ends up losing his mouth because of his role in that. He's no longer able to speak for the rest of his days. He can just watch. And she has to testify for that same crime. And all the Marvel heroes are there. You see Fantastic Four, you see Star Fox, her lover in a lot of comics. Everyone's there to see it. So there are times where She-Hulk steps out of the Marvel reality into something bigger. It would be very interesting if we see She-Hulk herself end up having to go somewhere like this fire dimension to try to get Madison's soul back. That would be a wild adventure for this law comedy, but at this point it could happen.
Damn. I love it. I did
weird.
not know that about She-Hulk, so that's amazing.
It gets very, very weird in a very cool way.
What else do we have to talk about? I mean, this whole episode to me is about Madison and Wongers, which is sad because it's a She-Hulk show, right?
I did feel for a moment that She-Hulk did kind of take the back seat in this episode, especially when she showed up to basically be Wong's muscle. But I like that She-Hulk is the constant factor in all of these different stories, and that it is a She-Hulk show because we're essentially building her repertoire, if you will.
Yes.
Now we're going, when she shows up with the Avengers, we're going to know, she fought a bunch of demons from another dimension with Wong, or she fought the Wrecking Crew when they tried taking her blood, or she broke Hulk's bar and had to rebuild it with him on his island or at the beach. So although it does seem like it's she's taking the back seat in some of these situations, it's going to be She-Hulk stories at the end of the day, which is really exciting to already get so many different adventures with a new hero.
Let's talk about the ending of the episode. It's very important what Titania cleared of all charges.
Yeah.
Somehow. Then she gets a cease and desist order from essentially Titania Worldwide LLC because she's utilizing the copyright of She-Hulk. And
Titania went and trademarked the She-Hulk name.
So
a name that Jen didn't even want.
Yeah. But then she claims it. That's my name.
That's true. This was the first episode where she and Nikki talk about how she takes ownership of the name finally. And they're like, it is kind of growing on me. Interesting.
You know what that kind of sets up, bro?
What's that?
Matt Murdock, Daredevil attorney-at-law.
Oh.
So that's a fantastic little tease of what's to come.
She's going to need a really good lawyer.
And he's a really good lawyer.
By the way, I saw the Spider-Man No Way Home extended cut last week.
How was that?
There was an extra Matt Murdock scene. It was only for a second, but I really, really enjoyed it.
What was
I don't know if I
tell me about it because I'm not going to.
All right, spoiler alert for the extended cut if anyone cares. But there was one more scene with Matt Murdock, and it pans over to him and Happy Hogan. So he does end up being Happy's lawyer.
Oh,
and
hell yeah.
They're having a meeting with the DODC where they're interrogating Happy, basically. And Matt looks over to him, and Happy is trying to explain away what was happening. And Matt goes, "You have to stop sweating." And Happy goes, "How do you do that?" It was a really good exchange. But
that's funny.
Yeah, Matt Murdock is being slowly integrated in the MCU, and soon enough, he's going to be taking over. Feige said that he's going to be one of the most important players of phase 4 or 5. And with an 18 episode Disney Plus show, that would make sense. But yeah, we're hitting the halfway point of this series here, and we're about to get into the back half, and we haven't seen Daredevil yet. He was one of the focal points in marketing for this show. Do you think he's going to be featured heavily through the back half, sort of like Wong has been featured in these last 2 episodes, or do you think it's going to be contained to maybe 1 episode?
Ooh,
I guess a better question would be, with the present situation of Jennifer Walters being sued for using a trademark of Titania's, how do you see Matt Murdock factoring in, and how long do you think he'll have to stay involved? Like, what do you think that's going to entail?
At the very least, 1 episode. I get a feeling maybe 2 or 3, because I feel like there could be like a big legal thing coming up that she may need, like, oh, okay, let me ask you about this. In fact, if it's not the leader who's the one after She-Hulk's blood, and it's instead the Kingpin, and the Kingpin has made moves outside of New York, that could keep Matt Murdock Daredevil around a lot longer.
That is interesting. You're right, because it's in a location where you wouldn't expect to meet Daredevil right now. And why else would he be there? He's, from the time we've known the Matt Murdock that we're assumedly meeting, he's only been focused on one major thing, and that's Wilson Fisk. And we just met Wilson Fisk in Hawkeye. I kind of like that theory. It would definitely be a very original spin on the character to be going for something like She-Hulk's blood. Yeah, but I think it would be nice to get something original like that and have a very unique take on Kingpin and what his new ambitions are. So I like that. We're expecting Daredevil. Why wouldn't we expect his villain? There's no other clear and present reason for why we would be meeting him right now.
Absolutely. So it's it's fun, man. There's a lot of different options that can go on here, and you love to see it, dude. You love to see it. Anything else on I was thinking about
episode 4.
I was like, what's the post credits? Oh yeah, it's her hanging out. It's Wongers and
I wonder if
Madison.
She-Hulk is going to find a man during this season, or if if this season is going to make her say, "I'm never going to find a man," because there was also pretty heavy emphasis on her dating life. And when she was pointing out all of these disgusting guys at the bar, Nikki goes, "You don't have to date someone like that. There are plenty of guys out there." And then she goes on several dates that also go like complete trash. And even when she gets one that she thinks goes well, the next morning she's Jen and the guy wants nothing to do with her. So in the end, the dude was still a piece of crap. Are we only going to meet pieces of crap besides Pug? Or like, is it really going to be that she's not able to find anyone good enough? Or is it that we're building up to her ultimate match? Because in the comics, at least in one comic run, the Dan Slott run that I love so much, Pug was that guy. And he was kind of the guy in the background who was like, he was like, "I've been right here all along." And she, the classic girl, doesn't notice him because she's going after guys who can deadlift 600 pounds, So Pug is already very different than he was in the comics that I love to read. So I don't know if they'll take that direction, but he is kind of the only nice guy we've met so far besides Bruce and Wong. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. That's my only other thought.
One of the best things from episode 3 is the light elf taking over other people's body, like disguising herself as other people. And one of them is like, walks out, like, "I love harassing ladies at work." My kick. And he comes out, he's like, "Not cool." She's like, "Let that be a lesson to you, Sonny." And then it's just great. He's like, you guys, I never do that. You guys know me.
Yeah.
It's like, so good, dude.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that shtick, man. Let's go ahead and take our only ad break for the day. And from there, we will jump right on into D23. We'll see you back in 90 seconds.
Sweet dreams they placed on me inside my mind. Change my truth, twist the past. My memories are fading fast. Am I still missed? Who do you want me to be? Am I still missed?
And the next one.
Famous Faces and Funnies in Melbourne, Florida is leading the way in pop culture fun. From comic books and graphic novels to Funko Pops and collector's items, Famous Faces and Funnies has it all. Rick Shea and the professional team at Famous Faces and Funnies are friendly and knowledgeable. Whether you're looking for toys, props, collector treasures, or a new comic book, Famous Faces and Funnies is your one-stop shop. To find Famous Faces and Funnies on Facebook and Twitter, just type at FFF Comics.
And we are back from our break, and we are here to talk about some takes for D23. That was hard. I was struggling to get that rhyme to go. JRB, what are you looking forward to when it comes to D23? Really quick, a little preface here. Today is Disney Plus Day. So today is kind of starting off the big Disney weekend that it is. If I have to be honest, football's winning this weekend for me, kids, adults, dogs, lady in the back. It has to. I love football. Football is what saved my life as a child. Fun fact, having a negative childhood and having a lot of anger works well for playing the ball of footness. As I said recently, when someone said, "What's fall here in Florida?" I said, "Oh, it's just an abbreviation for football. It's the only season that really matters after September." So that's where my head is at. Nice. Football's going to win the weekend. I will be following along what's going on my phone, but because football wins the weekend, I still have not watched Thor: Love and Thunder on Disney Plus. I did watch Assembled. It came out today. So here's what came out today that I love. She-Hulk, Thor: Love and Thunder, Assembled, the making of Thor: Love and Thunder, and Obi-Wan Kenobi: A Jedi's Return. That is a behind the scenes I've not yet watched. But holy crap, can I not wait? If we have time when we get off, I might watch that during the first quarter because Star Wars, man. Star Wars. So we've got all that going on right now. Also, Pinocchio, I've heard it's trash.
Yeah, I've heard some really, really bad things about the Pinocchio movie. It just hit Disney Plus today, right?
Yep, today.
Okay.
There's some other stuff that also hit today, too. Some BTS things. It's a really big Disney day. I'm not going to watch Pinocchio because I didn't like the original movie as a kid. I know everybody hates me. It's fine. I'm used to it. Thanks, Mom. But that sounded way darker than I meant it. I apologize.
That was pretty
Mom.
dark.
I love you. And I hope you love me, too. I hope I made you proud. D23, back to the plot, as this is all starting to really hit us. Tomorrow is the start of it all. And it goes, what, 2 days, 3 days?
3 days. I think it's going to go through Sunday.
Wow. And when is Marvel's panel?
It is Saturday morning. I believe it starts at 10 a.m. Pacific time, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Let me double check on that time for you. But the Marvel panel is going to be Saturday midday.
Saturday midday.
Mm-hmm.
Good to know. Also, I totally forgot to mention this. Star Wars, a 10-minute behind-the-scenes documentary on Andor dropped today on Disney Plus as well. I've not yet decided if I'm going to watch it because I don't know if I want the spoilers or if I need to be any more hype right now about Andor that comes out in 2 weeks. 2 weeks is a long time to wait, in my opinion, if you ask me. When it's Star Wars, like, I don't need to be hype. You just tell me a date and I'm like, I will be there. I'm very excited, and I'm looking right now to see if I can find the Star Wars panel date.
I want to say I could be wrong about this, but I think Disney is putting their Marvel and Star Wars panel together in like a 2-hour segment.
Yeah, you said 10 a.m. Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Pacific? Yeah, Marvel and Lucasfilm are both. Oh my God, that's the only time that matters to me then on Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday morning is going to be the big time.
Let's go. Noon Central, 1 Eastern, Marvel and Star Wars is going to give me all the stuff I need to know. Mm-hmm. Let's go ahead and hop into the comments where Lewis Berry said the most likely at D23 for Marvel will be will be Werewolf by Night announcement and trailer. And for Star Wars, Tales of the Jedi trailer and release date.
I like that a lot. I definitely think the Werewolf by Night one is accurate. It's been forever since they said they were doing that, and they've been working on it quietly behind the scenes for a long time. I have to imagine that they're going to give us some sort of update on the Werewolf by Night project if they're not getting rid of it, which I don't think they are.
I would be very surprised. I mean, Michael Giacchino has posted like, "Oh, we're filming this," like, so it's real. Right. It's not like it's
not going to be a Batgirl situation.
This weekend Marvel. Oh, don't even get me fucking started. The Bad Batch is actually has been rumored to allegedly drop September 28th. Recently, it came out that might be pushed to spring of 23, meaning Tales of the Jedi could very much drop. And if you know me, you know I love Star Wars animation, unlike David, the hater of animation Thompson, who is sitting on this show next to me, and John, hater of Star Wars Bradford over here.
Hater of Star Wars. That is extreme.
Star Wars. I said it. I stand by it. I sit by it. I'll take it to a campfire.
To be branded as a Star Wars hater. That's hurtful.
Sorry,
but I get it.
You get it. It's just for the gimmick, kid. We'll be fine. There's a chance that we get some extra casting news for the Acolyte for Skeleton Crew, but I'm hoping we get information on Ahsoka, specifically the casting of Grand Admiral Mithron Yerodo. And that's my Star Wars tangent. Thank you for allowing me to indulge. May the Force be with you. Don't forget to vote for me in that thing, because Star Wars is the greatest thing of all time. I said it.
Yes, vote for Thomas in anything and everything. 10 years from now, if you're watching this and Thomas is running for president, vote for him on that too.
Jesus.
D23, I think we're probably going to get a lot of good Marvel stuff out of this. Do you remember the D23 they did last year and how they just rattled off all those Disney Plus series that have since come and gone and have been mostly incredible? Last year's D23 is when they announced Moon Knight. I'm sorry, I might be talking about 2 D23s ago. But like Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, like all of these different projects, like they just started rattling them off, and we had not heard of them previously, at least not publicly. I have a feeling that we're probably going to get more of those Phase 6 dates filled in, because Phase 6, all we know right now is it starts with Fantastic Four and it ends with 2 Avengers movies. Everything else in between, we still have no idea what's coming. I definitely think we'll get more on that. When it comes to
I don't remember that.
Remember what?
Are you sure that's not Investors Day?
Oh, you know what? I might be thinking of the Disney Investor Day. You're right. Because the D23 live announcement that they did last year at the park, that was the first in-person event they had there since like 2019, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. All right.
Let me see. That is not real. That's someone just making up crap. It says Nova.
Regardless, when we got to San Diego Comic-Con, there were a lot of confirmations and a lot of exciting updates, but it was a little lackluster in the grand scheme of things, where you felt like this is a good start, but we already knew most of this was coming. So what's really going on? If they're already teasing that the Fantastic Four is going to kick off Phase 6, I would not be surprised if D23 builds on that and at least confirms its new director, because John Watts has been detached from the project for months now.
Yes, correct.
And the rumors have been running rampant that Matt Shackman is going to take over. But I also am really hoping that we'll get some sort of cast confirmation, because now that they're trying to get their director situation figured out, and now that they have a potential release date for the film, they're going to have to start making it soon. So I'm sure they already have a general story put together. If they've been talking, sorry, little hymn reference for the super fans out there. Nice. Love it. I would kind of be surprised if they're going to wait even longer to announce the Fantastic Four cast, especially since they're starting to use the characters in different projects. You know, it was fun to get Multiverse of Madness and see Reed Richards in there, but if you're going to start teasing those characters, the movie's coming, and it's not that far out at this point. So we'll probably get to know that pretty soon. But D23 seems like the place to do that, because they didn't really do anything like that at Comic-Con this year. It was mainly just confirming stuff we already knew and also expanding the timeline a little bit further. So what are your expectations? Is there anything in D23 that you think for sure we're going to see, or do you think it's all up in the air?
I think it is all up in the air. However, our next movie is Wakanda Forever, right?
Yep.
There's a chance we could get some footage for that. I think that is a very strong possibility. I think I'm only going to go with strong possibilities and then maybes. I think that's a strong possibility. I think Werewolf by Night is a strong if it exists, and it is coming out this year, a strong possibility.
Yeah.
I don't think we get any Thunderbolts casting. I think it's too early for that. I think we still have a lot of characters to meet, as Feige has said. Winky, winky.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic Four cast seems like it's a strong possibility, because what is that coming out? 2025, right?
It's either
November 25 or November 24.
I think it's 24. I think it's 2
so
years
that
from
means
now.
We're about 2 years away, which means filming is going to be commencing within the next 6 to 7 to 8 months, right? Give or take. And
by this
so
time next year, the film
done.
will be filming or already done filming. It has to be.
So I think that's a very strong possibility. Deadpool 3 announcement seems like the home run hit of it all, because they've been working on it. We know they've been working on it. It's been confirmed that Sean Levy is going to be directing.
Yes.
I think that is our most likely. If I had to guarantee anything, I'd guarantee a Deadpool 3 update.
Yes. If anything, even if it's not a confirmation on the movie or anything, just having either Sean Levy there, or even maybe Ryan Reynolds there, or just confirming that it's fitting somewhere into the MCU and that it's coming, having some sort of confirmation on it, I think is going to be, it'll be a pop no matter what they say about Deadpool. So Deadpool coming home, if you will, coming to Disney has been so highly anticipated, and everyone's sitting on the edge of their seat waiting to see how Marvel is going to do it. And waiting for all of those hilarious jokes about making that jump from Fox to Disney and showing up in the MCU now. Everyone wants it, and everyone knows it's coming. So now that we're getting even closer to it, Deadpool 3 has to get here eventually, and this would be such a primo spot for them to do something about that.
Absolutely. I think it might be a little early, but considering the trees are about to start rolling out, I don't think it's too early for more Guardians Holiday Special information.
Definitely. Yeah. No, I mean, other than Werewolf by Night and Black Panther 2, the Holiday Special is the only other thing coming out this year. So by the time we get to this panel, September 10th, there's only a few months left in the year, and there's only a few projects left in the year. So it would be weird if we didn't see at least something about it, because as of right now, all we've seen really is some promo images and I think some wrapping paper. But that's about it. And Funko Pop. Yeah, that's right. Of course.
I could actually see them not doing that because they still have Andor to promote, She-Hulk to promote, and they've been very... I think damn it. I talked myself out of it. I don't think they're going to do any Guardians special because it's not close enough. Like, they haven't wrapped She-Hulk. They have a very specific precedent set so far that if our show's not done, we're not promoting the next one. We don't promote the next one until it's done. We don't promote
but this
the
is
next
D23
movie until it's done.
This is the annual event.
But like you said, there's still a whole phase they can announce. Like, they can be like, by the way, here's the rest of this. Like, D2 phase 6 could be nothing but Disney Plus shows.
Yeah, that's true.
They only announced really movies and like shows we already knew about. This could be like, here you go. Disney wants us all to make these shows. Congratulations.
But D23, they also this year and last year put a ton of emphasis on the Disney Plus aspect of it. And even today, they dropped 2 feature films on the streaming service to celebrate the D23 weekend. If there's any time to promote something for the Disney Plus service, I think it's going to be this weekend, because after that, all you'll have to rely on is going to be TV spots, because you don't have another event before the end of the year to promote something like that special. So you're only going to see it through trailers and Twitter, basically, web ads. So I don't think it'll be like a whole segment, but I think they'll at least show like a title card or something to get people to just put it on their radar.
When I say like we'll see something, I mean like a trailer. Like a genuine...
I'm not expecting a full trailer. Yeah. Okay. All right. Like, I get you.
Them going, by the way, Guardians is coming out the end of this. Yes, that.
Gotcha.
Let me give a guarantee. Like a really, this is like playing Pong, if you will, on motherfucking Atari. Like, this is easy. They're going to remind you of everything they have coming out. That is it. Everything. Everything we know about, they're going to remind you of, for sure. Which is going to be fun. I'm really intrigued to see how Phase 5 kicks off. And if I'm not mistaken, Guardians Holiday Special is like that. It's that middle ground that Tony Stark talks about, where it's not something he would do and not something he wouldn't do. It's kind of, Phase 4, but not Phase 4, but also Phase 5, but also not Phase 5.
It's weird. Yeah, because Black Panther is supposed to be like the de facto end of Phase 4, but then like not even a week later, James Gunn went on Twitter and said that the holiday special is Phase 4 and not Phase 5. So like it doesn't really make sense, but I think it makes sense if you don't think about it,
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, sure. No, but yeah, it is a little weird how the phases are getting a little more convoluted. And I actually wrote up an article for the Direct on that what after James Gunn's comment, to kind of analyze how important are MCU phases to the actual projects that they consist of. Because if James Gunn, he also said in that same conversation, I didn't even know Guardians 3 was Phase 5. I thought it was Phase 4. So like it doesn't always matter, especially with the Guardians films, because the first 2 are so much kind of in their own world that they really don't become relevant until they're tied into Avengers Infinity War. At least not relevant to the greater Infinity Saga that's being told outside of their relation to Thanos. So the third one, I could see going down that same avenue. But it is a little weird how, like, Gunn thinks that this is Phase 4, but then Black Panther is supposed to be the end of Phase 4. but then the holiday special wasn't shown on that timeline. So why wasn't it shown on that timeline? It can get pretty messy.
All right, yeah. Welcome to the MCU. It's messy.
Welcome to the MCU. It's not so straightforward anymore. It's She-Hulk twerking and it's holiday specials being shoved in between phases.
I don't even want to talk about the internet, man. The internet pisses me off. But like every new thing that comes out from Marvel, all people want to do is shit on it now.
Yeah.
It's like the new
they just
cool
find
thing.
ways to complain. Like the Wrecking Crew, like you mentioned, like people who I didn't see a single person excited to see the Wrecking Crew in this show.
No,
not a single one.
Pissed they're there.
But they were mad once they showed up. I was like, yeah, I just don't get what people want from this show at this point. You know, the only gripe I have with it is that it isn't long enough. That I literally just want more of it. That's my only complaint. There are some people that get mad over every aspect of this, and
then
I don't get
watch it. They
keep watching.
Why do you hate watch anything? I don't watch horror movies because I hate them. Okay,
right.
I understand my limits. If I don't like it, what's the fucking point?
Stay in your lane.
Yeah, drivers in Florida. Frack.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm confused by the internet. Like, do people just want clout? Is that
I think a lot of it just yeah, you sort of did, old man, but I do think a lot of it has to do with just wanting attention. It's easy to find attention when you're going against the grain. The problem with She-Hulk is that there's just too many people going against the grain that it's almost ironic because they don't realize that this show is literally making fun of them in real time. Like the last episode 3, had a whole montage.
Thank you. That is
basically
important.
pointing out all of these bros on the internet that are saying, you know, oh, you took Hulk's masculinity and gave it to a woman. Like
She-Hulk hates its fans. Marvel hates its fans. You mean the dickhead who's saying, I'm not going to watch this show, but now you're watching that show and commenting on not wanting to watch the show while you watch the show that's making fun of you for saying you're not going to watch the show. Wow.
How do these people not just have a
Jake.
constant headache for being that stupid?
I have a headache trying to figure out how I'm not going to, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Even when I think it's really dumb opinion.
Unless it's a stupid ass opinion, and then we will ignore it.
Yeah. Good callback. I'm confused by the internet. I'm confused by like 90% of socializing in general. Like here it is. All right. I'm going to admit it. I don't understand socializing. I've said it. It's my weakest point. It's my toxic trait. I don't understand it. When I try to understand it, I get mad. When I choose to just ignore it and not give a damn, it makes life so much easier. And I seem to understand socializing better. And then somebody does something that I'm just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, it's so crazy you bring that up. I was just watching that new FX series with Jeff Bridges called The Old Man. And
is that me?
It is. It surprisingly is, because Jeff Bridges plays this retired like CIA operative, like a hitman kind of, and it's surprisingly philosophical. But he goes on this whole speech about how there's this monk who never spoke, and it's because he thought the very idea of language was deceiving, and that speaking the truth in any way would pervert it and misconstrue it. And so he said like he chose to communicate in different ways or something, and he didn't speak. So it's crazy that you brought that up, because I just heard that.
Sold me on this show.
It's a really good show. I think you would like it a lot.
Premise.
But so Jeff Bridges, The Old Man, that's my recommendation for the week. I'm about halfway through it, but it's a slow burn, but it is really, really good. And it's the way it's shot is beautiful. It's the perspective of it is very unique. But I don't know how we got to Jeff Bridges and The Old Man from D23, but
I was trying to say how neurodivergent I am, and then yeah.
Lights, thunder, neurodivergence. Is there anything there's I have a wild card for something that I really want to happen in D23, but I don't think is going to. And that's because it hasn't been acknowledged in a long time now. And that's Armor Wars. Rhodey, Don Cheadle. He's supposed to be leading a Disney Plus series called Armor Wars. And we've had a lot of different little instances play out that could show up in that show. Like Stark Tech being confiscated in Spider-Man No Way Home, or White Vision being rebuilt by Sword and released to the world in WandaVision. There are a lot of instances that can line up with Armor Wars, We're probably going to see another one in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I kind of have a feeling we won't hear anything about Armor Wars until after we meet Riri Williams, aka Ironheart. But it's so crazy because I feel like other than Agatha, House of Harkness, or Coven of Chaos, whatever it's called now, I feel like that's the only other show, and Werewolf by Night, where they really just haven't done anything or said anything about it at all. And
yes,
being the Iron Man fan that I am, I'm really hoping that there's a development on Armor Wars, because that's where you sell me, baby. Tony Stark is where it's at for me all day, every day. So although it's very unlikely, Armor Wars, I would love to shed a little light on that again to see if we can get some sort of update on it.
I love it.
Is there any dark horse or wild card that you want to see at D23, or are you just, is your mind open for whatever they're going to grace us with?
My mind is open for whatever they're going to grace us with. But if you want me to pick a dark horse, give me a Hercules show.
Oh, I like that a lot. Okay, I like it.
Give me more. Give me more of the God realm.
I like that. Yes, the God realm, the Omnipotent City. You just mentioned that.
Take me down to Omnipotent City.
You just mentioned, man. Yeah, that movie was exclusively Guns N' Roses. But
unfortunately,
you just mentioned that we
not
keep
any AC/DC.
No AC/DC. That's reserved for Iron Man only.
Thunderstruck is a Thor song, and I will be damned if we don't get it once. Sorry, I'm cool. We're fine.
We got it in Avengers, but Thor wasn't in that scene. He was in the next scene though. But actually, it is kind of a little bit of a hint towards Thor's appearance, because it's when Natasha comes up in the Quinjet. Iron Man overtakes her system and plays. Or no, it's not Thunderstruck.
Shoot to kill.
It's Shoot to Thrill. That Thunderstruck was in. Was it in Deadpool 2?
I think
it was in Deadpool 2, maybe.
It's not been in the MCU proper. That's
not been in the MCU. You're right. Damn, I thought I had.
They're saving it. I'm telling you, they're saving him. Saving it
for Thor 5.
Been Thunderstruck, yeah.
That'll be reserved for when Thor becomes the
All-Father.
on
topic. Let's get back.
D23. Your dark horse is a Hercules series. Is that going to be Hercules going after Thor? Or is it going to be more of an origin story? What would you like to see from Hercules, or do you just want to see him in general?
All of the above.
All of everything. All right, we'll make it a She-Hulk. We'll make it. I
want a Hercules Thorigin story, and I want him to. I feel like if you're gonna have a War of the Gods, you can do it in a Thor movie, or you could be cooler and do it in a Disney Plus series and make it exactly what you want it to be, which is a run. Like, imagine Hercules just slaying hero, not killing them, but beating the crap out of hero after hero after hero after hero in a gauntlet until he finally gets Thor to come down and they go toe to toe. Come on.
You know, a great place to do that would be he could go to Sakaar.
You mean where World War Hulk is happening? Oh, that's something we didn't talk about. World War Hulk. I'll put big money on it.
I would love to see them announce something with World War Hulk. It's probably premature because I have a feeling we'll have a better idea of Hulk's situation by the end of She-Hulk. I don't think they're going to leave that for something else to pick up. Because it seems like the way they're approaching these Marvel shows is they kind of set things up and then they just leave it for someone else to run with if they want to. So I think they're going to at least give us a little bit more of an answer on where Hulk is right now. But I'm really hoping it leads to a World War Hulk scenario, because we kind of already had the Planet Hulk story a little bit. They kind of integrated it with Ragnarok. And that's not enough for me. We need to see Hulk back fully in Hulk form and not Smart Hulk. We need to see Bruce compressed and or is compressed the right word? Hidden, maybe. I don't know. Discarded, if you will. But we need to see the Rage Monster World Breaker Hulk come back. And D23 would be a really cool place to announce that. Do you think we could do it with the current situation with Universal?
Announce it?
I'd like just make a World War Hulk movie. I that's an honest question, because I know we talked about the Universal situation on our last episode, and I still don't know what to make of it.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point. Yeah,
who knows? I guess we'll find out. But World War Hulk would be an awesome way to end a D23 panel. Like, by the way,
Like, could they
a new era?
Yeah, you're right. Could they announce that? I don't know.
In partnership with Universal Studios. Like one specific panel for D23 is at like the Universal Park, and then they cut back to Orlando.
Oh my god, that'd be amazing, dude.
That'd be
I'm
really
not
funny.
that would that would sell.
That
sell
would
hardcore.
studio collaboration like that. I guess we have it with Sony, but I don't really like that one. Anyway, D23. I'm sure we missed a ton of stuff, but
Yeah.
that's what we're most excited about.
Marvel, Star Wars,
Saturday is
shocker.
going to be great. Oh, one more.
Oh, hit me.
It's a long shot. I would love to see something with Nova announced.
Yes, that I don't feel like that's a long shot. I feel like that's more of a when they announce Phase 6.
Phase 6, yeah.
That's my gut tells me that they'll be like, here's Phase 6. We had to save something for D23. Not only is this, but here are the characters that'll show up in the certain things.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I really feel like that'll be in there. Because you're right. You know, in Phase 5 specifically, I think it's Phase 5 specifically, there's a date that wasn't on the board, but is sitting there, an untitled Marvel movie, and that's the Deadpool. That's why I'm like, Deadpool 3 is almost a home run bet right now. So
I would love that. They just kick off not the whole marketing campaign, but this D23 is where they officially start. Yeah. They hit the start button, you know?
Yeah, with
for
Deadpool. I mean, screw it. I teased what I was going to say with Ryan Reynolds in the suit.
Love it. That would be awesome if Ryan Reynolds came walking out like Loki at Comic-Con.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
It's like,
you remember
Kevin,
when,
can I come out now? Am I allowed to? Is it okay if I just, hi guys, I'm here. I made it.
Right. Dude, if his first line in a MCU project is Daddy's fucking home, that would be hilarious. Because he'd be using that one F-bomb you want too.
Right up.
Well,
it depends on where he starts. Like if he starts in his own movie, rated R, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're just like, go see this Deadpool movie and then we'll fit him into the MCU.
Exactly. Because, I mean, like, we're not going to get into the time travel timeline situation.
Okay, but
of it all,
he could really
pissed off Kang.
Someone pissed off Kang. What if Deadpool is the catalyst for what eventually becomes Secret Wars?
Deadpool kills the Marvel universe. I'm telling you, Deadpool kills the MCU. It is a beautiful film that needs to happen. Then you get every cameo you ever wanted, Deadpool fighting every character you ever wanted, and it's set around.
And where would
Secret
Hugh Jackman
Wars.
Cameo as Wolverine if not in a Ryan Reynolds-led Deadpool movie?
Yes, exactly.
Perfect payoff.
Exactly.
He's been doing it in it already. They opened the second movie with Logan on with the Logan death scene.
Yeah. I'm going to go out just like Hugh Jackman. I'm going to die in this one. Oh my God. It's so good.
I love Deadpool, man. I can't wait to see him join the MCU. But D23, Deadpool's
D23.
coming, hopefully. And so is a bunch of other stuff. Hopefully Fantastic Four. That's what I'm hoping for most. We'll talk
Daddy's
about.
coming home. Jodie Comer, man. Rumored to be Sue Storm. Perfect.
I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. The only reason I didn't like it was because of how young she is. And I'm like, oh, that means Reed Richards is going to be really young too.
She's in her 30s. Are you saying I'm young?
Yeah. For Reed Richards.
Thank you, man. Hold on. You're saying that's young, but let's think about how genius Reed Richards is. That means he's been fucking around with shit since he was about 15.
Oh, that's a good point. If we meet Reed Richards when he's much older, he'll have a lot of explaining to do.
Yeah. If he's like 32 years old, he's been messing around for over half his life with a PhD, probably.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Not only that, but
so was Tony Stark.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But
good point.
You know, he's been messing around for a while, but how long has he had his powers? Has he been hidden? I'm still on the quantum realm, baby. They're in the quantum realm.
It would be really cool if they were trapped in there and that like predates half the stuff we've seen.
JRB. They have to be announced because they're gonna be in Ant-Man Quantumania. I'm telling you right now, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania will have the Fantastic
Kick off
Four
Phase 5
being released from the quantum realm, and they have to be announced at D23 because otherwise, like, you just want them to show up and have everyone question? No, you want them to show up and everyone know that's the MCU proper version of the Fantastic 4.
Yes, and they did a really good job in Multiverse of Madness, making sure we recognize Mr. Fantastic by using a name like John Krasinski, which everyone wanted in that role anyway. Now they have to introduce everyone. That's going to be a lot harder if you don't tie them in to somewhere else that's relevant to the MCU story we already know. The Quantum Realm would make perfect sense, because if they have already been on this mission and we don't meet them at the start of their journey, we meet them way in the middle of their journey, then their backstory becomes their origin story. And we've already I like that we could meet them in present day and then have either a flashback or a period piece done on their origin later on. Similar to what we're doing with Spider-Man, where we meet him in real time, where he's dealing with MCU relative issues. And then later on, we get to learn about his origin. That would be perfect.
My mind is going crazy.
Oh, no.
Okay. Run with me. I'm going to try and keep this less than 45 seconds.
Okay. Good luck.
We meet them in the Quantum Realm, and Kang is like, damn it, you released them. And then we find out that Kang is the one who put them there and then left Dr. Doom to do whatever he's going to do. So Doom's been around for this long, just sitting there, waiting around, maybe even utilizing his own time cube thing to get through and get to that point in time. Or Kang just said, nope, I don't like you here. You have to be released at this point in the universe. So that way, Dr. Doom has been established in the 60s and is time traveled to the future, because remember, there's a human being responsible for keeping track of the entire timeline of the MCU. A, I'm sad it's not me. B, that means nonlinear storytelling is the move here. And Dr. Doom has been established for a long time. We just have yet to meet him. Maybe he's not established yet. Maybe he's underneath Wundagore and is about to get his hands on part of the Darkhold. Boom!
Wow.
Lots
going on there. My
Less
goodness.
than a minute. Like I said, my brain was going crazy. So thank you.
That was some Ace Ventura rattling right there. I love it.
Alrighty then. Do I have that in here? I don't. No, I don't. I don't have any Jim Carrey. Sad.
I have Jim Carrey right
above
Jim Carrey,
my
Iron Man hands.
Yeah. Let's look at that. Yeah.
It's not Ace though. But wow, Dr. Doom already being around. I really like the idea of these characters already having been established somewhere. Because it always is a little bit off-putting when they're like, and here's this brand new person, and we're going to fit them in here and start their story here. I like it better when it fits in to the story that we already know, rather than adding another layer right off the bat.
Yes.
I like when they get integrated into it and then they become that next layer naturally, rather than just stacking on a new layer, kind of like what Eternals did. I like what Eternals did, but it raises a lot of questions about what we already know. So it would be cool if, the Fantastic Four is introduced in a familiar setting like the Quantum Realm, which we learn something new about every time we're within it. So, we still have a lot of stuff left unresolved, especially with Hank Pym's wife, Janet. I think the Fantastic Four could play into that pretty heavily.
Absolutely.
Cool. D23 promises a lot, man.
Man, crazy. We're here. We're live. We're doing it. JRB. That's the end of our show, man. That's crazy.
Time for some football.
A Thursday night party. Corsicana, actually, real quick, is dropping in a bunch of theaters tomorrow. If you go to my Facebook page, at TCRochesterACT. I'm saying that because I don't remember if I've changed it on Facebook, because I'm living in too many different pages right now. If you go to my Facebook page or my Instagram at TCRochesterACT, I can guarantee tomorrow morning I'm going to drop a picture and all the list of all the locations it's playing in, premiering in 4 theaters in Florida, one of which is in the Orlando area, my friends, my Central Florida homies, Claremont, Florida. It's going to be a good time. I hope you all get to go see it, mostly because I hope you enjoy the movie. Ignore the fact that my ugly mug is up there on the screen and just have fun. Gotta love it. Recommendations for the audience. JRB, what do you got?
It's going to be The Old Man from FX. I'll stick to that. And that includes a recommendation for you, Thomas. I think you really would get into it. Like I said, it's a slow burn, but it has some awesome, very unique action sequences. And the the main character has 2 Rottweilers that he takes around with him everywhere, and they play into the story a lot. It's a lot of fun.
I love it.
What about you,
I love
TCR?
dogs.
What's your recommendation for this week besides the TCR starring Corsicana?
Starring is a strong word.
Are
But
you on the silver screen, Thomas?
yes, but it's not.
And it stars
technically
TCR.
There's legal ramifications for being a star. You get paid more. So I'm not there yet. You know, baby steps. I am going to recommend What We Do in the Shadows. The season finale dropped this week. It's the first and only episode I've ever watched live. Normally I stream it the next day on Hulu, but I was awake because I could not sleep. So I stayed up and watched it. And man, what a time. This season was way different. There was a different showrunner, different writing staff, and you can tell. But what they did throughout the season is fun. And my favorite bit is that, you know, they say, oh, some things never change. That was the whole gimmick for the whole episode. And it ended. And yeah, things don't change in that house. It's going to be really interesting to see how it goes forward. And it's spooky season, mother truckers. So like, go ahead and watch some vampire shtick. Enjoy some humor, very adult oriented. It's wild, man. It's very wild, and I'm excited to see what people do. It's some of the episodes, man, are so out there that I'm like, what are they gonna do? And then it goes even crazier. But guys, gals, and non-binary pals, we have reached the end of the show. As always, there could be no show without the Iron Man variant to my right. World famous journalist John Ross Bradford, bringing a much needed eloquence and wit. Thank you to Terry McIver and David Thompson for their work behind the scenes. Thank you to the HWWS WebTV family for supporting us and carrying us on the network. Most importantly, thank you to you, our fans, for joining us weekly, whether you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or listening via Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, or Spotify. We appreciate you spending your time with us.
Be sure to like, follow, subscribe, drop us a comment, leave us a review, and give us 5 stars. But only, of course, if you think we are worthy.
As always, I'm Jake the Goat.
And I'm Madison with 2 N's and a Y, but not where you think you would be.
Thank you for joining episode 99 of LTA. We should have let off with this. Next week, 100 episodes. We're going to have a little celebration of some sort. David Thompson's going to come back and share his story about how we started this podcast together. And now that mother trucker's getting paid, baby, to be a podcaster. That's going to be fun. We're going to try and get some other special guests on here as well. Some of our friends, we've had a lot of guests. It'd be great to get them all back on for a little cameo appearance. You know, this is the She-Hulk of the podcasting universe. He says,
yeah, hey, don't think LTA is just going to be this cameo-filled fun fest every week, okay?
Yeah, no, remember whose show it is. It's David's, honestly.
It's the Wong CU.
It's the Wong CU. Wongers!
The Wong of our universe. Wongers!
David is the Wong of this universe, to be dead honest with you. But episode 99 has wrapped. We love you. We'll see you next time. Cow.
Wongers, can we get some froyo?